Much thanks to Mosley Motors for sending me this picture to help locate the hole cutout. To reduce the chance of mistakes for cutting a hole in my tank, I used cardboard to create a template. The green color was just easier to see through the back of the plate, but you could use anything. Here you can see it's an exact fit, and I used a punch to locate the holes and the split in the ring to ultimately get it on the bottom side of the metal once the hole's cut. Then I started to lay out the hole and used these lines to align my holes that will be drilled later. I used a Dremel to make the initial cut through, and then used a cutoff wheel to cut the circle. You could certainly use a hole saw, but the Dremel was what I had. Here's a first shot inside the tank. You can see where the pump is going to land on the bottom of the tank, right next to the drain plug. Once I had the hole cut, I pressurized the tank, cleaned some things up, and I realized I had 4 pinholes in the tank. This is pretty common in these tanks, so I cleaned it up using a wire brush and some navel jelly to get some of the rust off. Ultimately, it was pretty clear they needed to be patched.
Good.
In hindsight, I might have decided to get a new tank altogether. You can get new replicas for a pretty reasonable price, but I really wanted the experience of fixing the tank myself and practice welding on thin metal. It took a few tries to get it right. I would pressurize it, use soapy water, check for leaks, do it again, but I finally got it. Here's what the patch looked like on the inside of the tank. Since we were welding, it was time to get the ring ready to tack into place. So I cleaned up the edges, bolted the ring into place, and got ready to tack it. Once the tank was all ready to go, it was time to protect it using POR 15. This stuff is amazing. I put together the pump assembly. It's very, very simple. Dressed the gaskets with the Permatex 85420 and installed the pump. With the gas tank pinholes fixed, I'm really looking forward to not having any fuel smell in the cab. The evaporative emission control devices are notorious for having cracks, and mine sure did on one of the nozzle fittings. So I fixed that with some JB Weld steel stick. Works pretty good on these. Once you dry fit the cover over the fuel tank, it's obvious that the new fuel line alignment coming out of the top of the tank would interfere with the cover. So I measured everything out and prepared the cover to cut a sort of diamond shape that would make room for the tank to be accessible, the pump to be accessible, and all of the lines to go underneath the seat without causing a problem. started here. You can see the cutout right there. And then my fuel lines are coming up. You probably can't see it, but I fabricated a new grommet with some AN6 fittings that come through there. Here's my new power source. So I'll bring that wire up through with the sender unit, and those will essentially tie in just like that. And then this one will come around, and my connection, my ground over there. I'll trim this felt so we get a nice clean fit, and you can see that thing will be really nice and clean. And then these fuel lines just come in just like so. And there's room for the fuel lines to kind of come under the seat, over the cover, connect through, and once the seats are in, it should look nice and clean. Okay, finished up all of the plumbing for the new fuel pump. Got new fuel line from the Sniper unit. Got a pretty slick little spot for my fuel filter behind the fender there, which is pretty cool. I'll take some pictures of that and put those up. And we're ready to put gas in the tank, so we'll do that and we'll give her a whirl. All right, we got about 3.5 gallons of fuel in there. You can take a look at the setup here. Got the pump all wired and plumbed. And let's turn on the Sniper and listen to it run. All right, let's give her a start. It's running fuel. It's really nice to get it running. Once it's running, I got the hardtop back on for winter here in Denver, Colorado. And it's running great. Took it out for a spin on a little bit of a snowy day.